Man, do I love my Criterion collection. What? Why did somebody put a note in my door? I'm going to steal your Criterion collection? Somebody actually thinks they're going to steal my Criterion collection and get away with it? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my 7 Samurai to guard it. I dare you to come through that door. I dare you to come through that door. I dare you! Welcome to Akira Kurosawa week, and me and Luke and Robbie are just really excited to embark on this week, and we're doing something a little bit different for our first video this week. We're all three going to have input into this, and so we're going to be talking about 7 Samurai. It's a film that we all love for so many different reasons, and you know, we didn't really want to fight over who was going to talk about it, but how can you have it without how can you have this theme this week without actually mentioning this film? Because ultimately, this is usually the first film that a lot of people actually use to kind of get into Kurosawa and sometimes Japanese cinema. So we all love this film. It's one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. And yeah, so this is Akira Kurosawa week, and thank you for watching. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and talk about my story about how I fell in love with the film and what was my first experience with the film. And it's kind of a checkered, not a checkered path, but it's kind of like, there's little spots I remember hearing about it. I was in 5th grade. I remember hearing, we were talking about, we were in history. We were talking about some kind of, I think, the history of Japan at one day or something like that. And I remember one of the PowerPoints that we had, it wasn't PowerPoints, it was on a projector back then. That's when you put the, a light, you put the piece of paper on the light and it shines it on the wall. That was before we had, digital projectors. But transparency is what they were called. And I remember, we had a transparency up and it was talking about Japan, and, at the bottom, there's, the annotations for a lot of the history type stuff. And at the bottom, the word movie and film always jumped out to me. And at the bottom it said, for more information on the life of a samurai, check out, 7 Samurai, and I think it said a few other ones, and nobody, we didn't, it was just that little fine print down at the bottom. I doubt anybody else even noticed it, but I did. So it just kind of, goes in the back of my head and it stays there for a while. Well, later that year, I went down to an outlet mall kind of center near my, city, and there was a bookstore. And so I went in and just looking at the movie books. I always gravitated towards movie books, and I saw this book, and it was called Guy's Guide to Guy's Movies. And I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. And it was a book that actually rated the film based on, it's funny, it rated it, I was in 5th grade, and it rated it based on language, violence, I think sex, and all this stuff, and it had symbols. So it was this gets a 4 for action and a 3 for sex, and that kind of thing. And it wasn't an adult book, but obviously I probably should not have gotten it, but I did get it. And it was a pretty cool book, and it was all about what VHS movies to rent from Blockbuster and Hollywood Video and all those places. And I remember looking at the Westerns part, and I think it was The Magnificent Seven. Rated it blah, blah, blah. It talked about why you need to see it. It had descriptions on how to convince your girl or your woman or your significant other how to watch this movie, mainly females. And I remember for Reservoir Dogs, it said if you can convince any woman to watch this film and enjoy it, you win an award. And it had an award section in the back, and it was best chase in a movie, and it was Chevy Chase, stuff like that. It was a big joke, but in the Magnificent Seven part at the bottom, it says if you want a more violent, even though they weren't really referring to blood, they were just referring to if you want some more violence and sword epicness, basically, then check out the original Japanese film Seven Samurai. And I was like, this is the second time, over my life that I've actually heard of this movie. I really need to see it. And really, it wasn't until about 8th grade. I mean, it had to have been 3 or 4 years later. Yeah, if I was in 5th grade, 8th grade was about 3 years later, not 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So, I didn't fail 5th grade 1,000 times. But I remember it was a few years later, and what was it? I was at the library, and it was still when it was, just like the VHS and DVD was about equivalent. And I saw a 2-disc special edition, or no, not 2-disc, a 2-taped edition of Seven Samurai. And it was like really crappy looking. The box was all ripped up, but I watched it and rented it. Went home and I watched it, and I was sick that day. And I just wanted to go. And so I literally waited to watch it, and it was like midnight, and I was like this. I was just exhausted, and I was sick. And I've told this story before, but I watched the movie, and I thought I was just going to fall asleep like 30 minutes into it, but I was hooked. And literally, I finished the movie 3.5 hours later, and I wanted to watch it again at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, dang, man, like, this was a kick-ass movie. And then, I loved it. I rented it a few more times. I eventually bought the first Criterion edition of it, which was the 1-disc Criterion, and it showed the samurai kind of like, gazing off into the distance, and it was a very bare bones. It was like the old Criterion. I mean, it's spine number 2, so it was the second Criterion DVD release at the time, and I had that one for a while. Then they came out with the special edition, which was like, they made it brand new transfer, all that stuff, and it was even more high def, and it was the DVD. I didn't have a Blu-ray player yet, and I was like, man, that DVD set is awesome. So I was almost going to buy it one time. I was really going to buy it. But I was like, you know what? I was like in an Orson Welles type mood, and I bought the Third Man Criterion instead from Barnes & Noble. It was one of those times where I could look back and I can say I am kind of glad I didn't buy Seven Samurai, because I would never have bought this, because this went out of print. And this is like, a really hard to find type DVD, so, and Blu-ray too. But yeah, so it was one of those things, but it's just funny. I always think that. So I waited a while, and then I eventually bought the 4-disc set, and no, it was 3 discs. And it was amazing. It was an amazing set. And eventually I got a Blu-ray player, and I actually sent off my old Criterion 3-disc set, and I actually sent it to Robbie, and you'll actually see it in a second, because he had never seen it. He had never had a Criterion. Now he has plenty of Criterion, and he has pretty much every single Akira Kurosawa film and a lot of other Japanese films already, like, in his collection. So I sent it off to him. It started his addiction with Seven Samurai and Criterions. So yeah, and so I mean, Criterion and Seven Samurai has had a huge impact on my film-loving life, pretty much. And so yeah, so I sent him the DVD, and he definitely enjoyed it. So I'm going to show off, before we show Robbie's, video of, my, basically it's a video of when I sent him the DVD. It's like the unboxing of it. So, and it was a few years ago. But before I do that, I'm going to show off my Blu-ray. So this is the Blu-ray. Alright, so I went ahead and took it out of the sleeve. This is it right here. I went ahead and put the sleeve to the side. Here's that. And then here's the back with the chapter selections. Here's a booklet right here with a bunch of stuff in it. I mean, most of you probably already have this if you're a fan of the film. So there's the Blu-rays. This is disc 1, the film, and then the supplements. And let's go ahead and look at there's the back. Let's go ahead and flip that back over. Yes, so I definitely really love this film, and I highly recommend all you guys get it. So right now, we're just going to go ahead and head over to Robbie.
Hi guys, how's it going? Today I got another package from another YouTuber. I've been getting a lot of these lately. This one is from a relatively new friend of mine. His name is Ryan Chattaway, and his YouTube channel is rchattaway87. And he's a really great guy. And he sent me this package, and I have no idea what it is. He said it's a surprise, so I'm really eager to open it up and see what's inside. Alright, so I'm going to take my trusty knife that my father bought me for Christmas. I say that every time. I really love this knife. Slice it open there. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, it feels like something good. That's what she said. Got a Target bag. Let's see if there's a note in here. Yep. There's a note. Let me read it. Robbie, this is a gift to you for your encouraging words and helping me upstart my channel. I know you haven't seen this yet, so I know you will enjoy it. You may be thinking, I didn't help anything. Well, you might not have physically helped, but you have encouraged me to continue. I hope you enjoy this film as much as I have. Thanks again, Ryan Chattaway, aka rchattaway87. Thank you very much, Ryan. I'm glad that what I said to you was encouraging. You're doing a great job with your channel so far. For those of you who haven't watched him yet, he does a lot of movie reviews. He knows a ton about movies, way more than I do, and I've heard about so many movies from him that I had never heard of, and they're all really great, and he really knows what he's talking about. So anyone who likes film, you definitely need to go over and check his channel out and subscribe to him. He's just starting out, but he deserves a ton of subscribers. So let's open up this bag and see what's in here. Now I'm really excited. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me, dude? I cannot believe this. I was looking at this thing. I almost bought this on Amazon, but I couldn't spend the money yet. This is amazing. This is Seven Samurai. It's the Criterion Collection. Dude, this is the nicest thing. This is like the nicest thing in my collection now. I can't believe you sent me this. I'm so ecstatic. You have no idea, and I cannot wait to watch it. Definitely. Dude, this is so awesome. I can't describe. That's freaking amazing. I can't believe that you sent me this. Let me open it up and show you more about it. If you want to find out more about this movie, I haven't watched it yet, but you need to check out his channel. This is one of his favorite movies, and from what he's said about it, it made me want to see it. It's like the #1 movie to see on my list. I cannot wait to watch it. This is an amazing set. This is the first Criterion thing that I own, so that's awesome, dude. You are freaking awesome. Oh, this is a beautiful set too. I love the packaging. It's got 3 discs. Holy moly. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. I can't believe you sent me this. Oh, it's got a book to it too. Wow. Man, I cannot wait to watch this. Thank you so much, dude. You're amazing. I can't believe you sent me this. I am so ecstatic. Dude, you rock. Thank you so much. Alright, I guess that's the end of this video. I want to go watch this right now. Thanks, dude. The first thing that I have here is one of the most amazing things that I have in my collection now. And I was very blessed to have this sent to me by a new friend here on YouTube. He's a really good guy. I'm going to put a link to his channel. I'll put it up in an annotation, and I'll also put it in the description. You definitely got to check out his stuff, especially if you like movies. He has very good taste, and he really knows what he's talking about. But he sent me the Criterion Collection of Seven Samurai, which is an absolutely amazing film. And I would go as far as to say that this is probably one of my top 5 favorite films. I'm so glad that he introduced it to me. And yeah, it's just amazing. If you want to see more in-depth look at this set, I also did an unboxing of it when I received it in the mail. So look for that video on my channel. I might leave a link if I remember. But yeah, I'll show that shows everything inside of this, and it's just amazing. Definitely check out my friend R Chattaway 87's channel, and also if you can get your hands on this, definitely pick it up. It's an amazing, amazing set.
The next film is actually my favorite foreign film, and it is my favorite Criterion that I own, and that is Seven Samurai. Love it. The first time I saw this movie was about 6 years ago. I was really, really tired. I rented a VHS from the library, and I was really tired at night, but I was like, man, I really want to watch this movie. And it was like 1:30 a.m. I was sick. I just did not feel good. And I'm the type of person that if I'm not feeling good and I put in a movie, I'll fall asleep in 2 seconds. You'll hear me snoring like crazy. But this film was so gripping to me and so good that I stayed up the entire 4 hours and watched the film. Well, it's not 4 hours exactly. It's a 207-minute movie. So it's about almost 3.5 hours. I stayed up the entire time, and at the end, I actually contemplated watching it again, but I didn't. But for those of you guys who don't know, this was remade to American audiences as Magnificent Seven. It's about 7 samurai who are hired just for food and to protect a village of farmers from bandits. And that barely scratches the surface because it has a lot of human drama, you know, the philosophy of the people of the time. It's just a really powerful film. It's like an onion. You pull back, you know, there's layers to it. As Eddie Murphy from Shrek would say, onions have layers. And this movie is an onion and it has layers. So you better check it out. You need to check it out. And you need to get this Criterion Blu-ray of it. It's about $34, I think now. It's amazing. So I heavily recommend that.
Okay, so Seven Samurai for me. No, we're not doing the skit for this one.
Oh.
Yeah.
My bad.
We'll just take a quick break. So that was a little bit from Robbie and Ryan about Seven Samurai, and you know, when I first watched the film, I think it was 3 years ago, 2011, as part of my Epic Film Challenge, I was feeling like I needed to watch more classic films, and that was one that I'd heard about for many years, and I know my dad was a big fan of it. He used to watch it, and I'd kind of see it on TV, but it would seem kind of slow and boring and old for me when I was a kid. It always kind of just was one of those films, just seemed like the title, Seven Samurai, it just seemed like such a cool title, and I always wanted to watch it. I knew that it was really long as well. And I finally bit the bullet one night and I stuck it on, and I started watching about 2 AM in the morning. I had work the next day and I didn't get to sleep till about 6:20 because I nodded off a few times, and sometimes I watch a film, I'll nod off and I'll kind of miss a few minutes and I'll just keep on watching. But with this one, I just kept rewinding and just making sure I saw every frame because I was just enthralled throughout. It was just the fact that it was really late and I was tired that I nodded off. It wasn't due to boredom. And I just fell in love with it, and I did a review of it and was really just excited about kind of the future of my film watching, because it really opened my eyes to how great films can be from, you know, the other side of the world, and, you know, 50, 60 years ago. This film is, it's mesmerizing. I don't know what it is about it that I loved so much. I couldn't say to anyone, you've got to see it. It's full of action. It's full of, you know, it's a weird film. It's very real. I think it's very real. Like the fight scenes, the little action that's in this film is very realistic. You don't get a lot of kind of frivolous Hollywood kind of, you know, sword play where it's all really nice and fancy and looks great. It's just, you know, bang, dead, you know, just and messy, and, you know, the big fight at the end is just people just throwing swords around and people flying off horses, you know. Some great stuntmen in this. But the story is just, it's just such a slow burner, and you just really, I don't know, I just really got into this film. The characters are great. Like I said, the action's realistic. That really draws you in. The silence at times is so realistic that it draws you in. I had to keep watching, and it's just an absolutely fantastic film. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10 without doubt. This goes straight in my top 10 list, and you know, for sure. It's a classic. Bottom line, Seven Samurai, one of the best films I've ever seen, or one of the best films I've enjoyed this much, you know. And I can't wait to watch it again and again. And I can't wait to get the Blu-ray, you know, hopefully it'll come out in America soon. In America, it's only out in America, so I hope it'll come out in the UK soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. This was episode 89, The Seven Samurai. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you watch it. You're going to need some time to watch it though. From what I understand, I didn't even watch the full version. I think the full version is even longer, but I don't think there's really much that I missed. It's just a brilliant film, with a brilliant ending, brilliant middle, brilliant beginning. I love the whole thing where they find the samurai. I love it when they go to the village and they set up their defences and everything's just so real. I mean, the final battle of the film isn't like a kind of, here they are, let's fight, yeah, and then it's over and they're all dead. It's like a battle that's drawn out over days and days, you know, and the strategies is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. I'll stop gushing about this film now and say goodbye. And more recently now, I've gone into films that are almost 100 years old, and so, you know, doing my YouTube channel, you know, and the Blu-ray Brothers channel here, is really opening my eyes to more films, which is great. But Seven Samurai has always been a special film to me since I first watched it, because the next time I watched it was with Connie, my fiance, and I wanted to show it to her. And for her to kind of experience it and stuff, and she ended up really liking it too. And I made a video when we did that. I know I can't complain, but you know,
Blues Brothers.
The success of our whole relationship really hinges on whether you like this film or not. Just
Harry
saying.
Potter.
Just saying. And then I really decided I wanted the Blu-ray because it was just one of those films that was instantly shot into my top 10 favorite films of all time. So I wanted to get the Criterion Blu-ray, which is the only Blu-ray available up until that point in 2012, I think. And that really made me bite the bullet and pick up a region-free Blu-ray player. I picked up like a Toshiba model, which was able to be flashed with Australian firmware, so I could watch Blu-rays from anywhere in the world. And it was mainly for Seven Samurai and some Wes Anderson films, but mainly Seven Samurai. When I asked Robbie Webster, who I was really good friends with, around 2012 we started talking a lot, and it was actually seeing that Robbie got that package from Ryan that made me watch Ryan Chattaway's video. So it's strange how that happens. You just kind of see a random video and then, you know, 2 years later you're flying halfway across the world and staying with that person, you know, and hanging out and stuff. Really weird how things have turned out, but yeah, it was really, that's how I found Ryan's channel. And with Robbie I said, you know, there's a sale going on in America. I think it was the Barnes & Noble 50% off Criterion sale they do every year. And I asked him if he could pick me up Seven Samurai, and I'd pay him back when I got the money, when I got paid that month. And he agreed, you know, and we'd done a few trades previously, so it wasn't, you know, we trusted each other and that kind of thing. But he did it, and he sent it to me straight away. And yeah, here's the clip of that unboxing. Hello, welcome to another mail day. This is a very special one here. I'm not going to show you the address or anything, but this is from Robbie Webster, awesome YouTuber, good friend of mine, and he's helped me out with a Blu-ray from Amazon.com. So I trust Robbie to send me something more than I do Amazon.com in terms of shipping and stuff overseas anyway, and it probably saved me a bit of money for shipping as well. Haven't paid him yet, which is just another sign of what an awesome guy he is. He picked it up for me while it was on sale. I'm going to pay him tomorrow. So let's have a look at what's inside. It was my birthday yesterday. If you watched the last mail day, you'll know that. I'll try and be quick though, because I'm just about to go out on a trip for a couple of days, and I always leave things to the last minute. I have a note here. Hey Luke, I hope you're doing very well and that this package arrives safely. I used a ton of bubble wrap as always, so it should be okay as long as nobody steps in it or anything. I threw in a small bonus that I thought you might enjoy. I hope you open this on camera so I can see your reaction. Take care, buddy, and keep up the awesome videos. Your friend, Robbie Webster. Thank you very much. Haha, here we go. Let's have a look at this first. This is what I really wanted to get, and he sorted me out with. Very well packed in bubble wrap for me. Oh, Seven Samurai, the Criterion Collection Blu-ray. Oh, this is just one of my favorites. It's one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. And this is actually the 207-minute full version that I've never seen before. And yeah, this just looks amazing. Can't wait to see this. I'm going to be ordering a Blu-ray player tomorrow that should be able to play Region A Blu-rays. So yeah, amazing. I'll just quickly have a look on the inside. I probably won't do a close-look video unless people really want me to, in which case of course I will, but there are a lot out there probably by now. This has been out for a long time. Oh, this comes in a really nice box. I'm just admiring it and you can't even see it on camera. Bit of a waste, but there you go. So this comes out here. A nice kind of slip box. And the chapters there on the back. It's a really nice feel to this. Oh, epic shot there from the fight scene at the end, or the fight scene of the battle, the epic battle at the end. Oh wow, oh that is really cool. Okay, so it folds up here, folds out here, and we have the two Blu-rays. We have the film and the supplements. I don't know if the supplements is a Blu-ray as well. Probably is. No Criterion, not that it matters anyway. But and inside here we have this book. Quite a thick book as well, by the looks of it. Wow, Jesus, that is spectacular. That is a proper. I can do that without. That is a proper book there, and that kind of sits in between the packaging there. That's awesome. That's really cool. And thanks again for helping me out with this Seven Samurai amazing box set. And there's Connie. We're about to go leave for our trip. Thanks again. So there you go. I mean, that was just great, and that Criterion Blu-ray is just one of the best editions I own, period. And you know, Seven Samurai, I'm not going to go into the story or anything. I might, you know, maybe review it at another point, but for me it's just one of the greatest films ever made. You know, I have my favourite films, my top 10, but if I was to say, you know, what are the best or the greatest films ever, I couldn't see that not being in the top 3. You know, it's just an amazing film, absolute classic, just amazing. And it really just shows what Kurosawa could do, and that wasn't his only masterpiece. He made many other great films, but this is probably, you know, the classic kind of pinnacle Akira Kurosawa movie. And I have the Criterion edition, but also I have the only edition of Seven Samurai on Blu-ray in the UK, which came out last year in 2013, and it's from BFI, and it is the Steelbook edition, which is fantastic. I love the artwork, kind of minimalist style. You got all 7 members there. Silhouetted, and you can kind of tell as well if you look up close and you know the film. You can really tell it's Toshiro Mifune. You can tell who's Takeshi Shimura. You know, just brilliant. I love the steelbook. I'm not too crazy on the silver because it gets just kind of scuffed up, and I really take care of my steelbooks. It's hard for this to kind of look pristine. I don't know what it is about the material, but it just it seems to be prone to looking a little scuffy, or you know, little just, I don't know. On the back, really cool image of a sword there. I believe that is Kikuchio's sword. The really big one, and there's the spine there, Seven Samurai, and it's got a booklet inside as well, along with the actual image of the 7 characters there on the front on the disc. And there's a booklet there, one of the best scenes of the film. That I'll quickly show you the booklet, and the inside artwork is the same image of the Toshiro Mifune there. If you take it out, it goes across the whole thing. And yeah, so that was our little video on Seven Samurai, and there's actually a piece on Toshiro Mifune in the booklet. It's not a big one, but it's got, you know, a few pages, and BFI are actually bringing out a box set of Kurosawa samurai films next month, which will include Seven Samurai, so there'll be another way to own it in the UK on Blu-ray. But I love the Steelbook edition. I love owning it more than once. It's an amazing film, and yeah, one of my absolute favourites. And roll on the rest of Kurosawa week. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. And I just remembered, as I was talking earlier on in the video, about how every time I watch the film it's quite special. I forgot to mention the 3rd time I've watched it, and I've only seen it 3 times with my mum. And she's a big fan of the film Magnificent Seven, which was the American remake, and I hadn't seen it, so we decided to do kind of an exchange thing where we both watched Magnificent Seven, and I was like, oh, that's that bit, and that's who that character is supposed to be. And then we both watched Seven Samurai, and then she was like, oh, so that's the you know, the so-and-so from the Magnificent Seven. So it was really fun, and again, really special. So the next time I watch it again, I'm probably going to try and aim it to be kind of, I don't know, maybe watch it with my dad or something like that. Just kind of make every time I watch it stand out in my memory and stuff, like it has done the past 3 times. So yeah, I just want to add that in very quickly at the end there. There you go.